plaintiff, Anna Berardini, has owned her own business for 37 years, and the defendant's mother worked for her for 25 of those years. Anna's suing because she claims the defendant assaulted her at her place of business, causing damage to her eyes. Defendant Sheila Britton says on the day of the incident, she simply went to Anna's place of business to pick up her mother after her shift was over. Sheila claims Anna instigated the fight by throwing water and a water bottle at Sheila while Sheila was holding her young daughter, and Sheila simply defended herself.
All right, start with you.
Well, I've owned my own business for 37 years. I'm a dog grooming salon, and the defendant's mother worked for me for 25 of those years. And I'm suing today because the defendant attacked me in my place of business and caused me to have large amounts of medical bills.
Why did she do that? What happened?
Well, it all started a long time ago when she was young. Her mother would tell me all of the bad behavior that her daughter was doing.
My mother said no such thing.
Let her finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, all the bad behavior. I would have school teachers calling me, asking me to help her
Why would
mother
they call you?
me because her mother was deaf.
Okay.
She couldn't talk on the phone. So I would hear all this from the sources. Like her school would call me, the teachers would say, please make her mother understand the consequences of her behavior. She never comes to school. I have had landlords call me from apartment buildings where they lived, asking me to explain to her that if her daughter's behavior doesn't get better, they're going to be evicted, which they were twice. And then one time, maybe she was in early high school days, her father came to my store to get her mother, and I happened to mention something about coming back as soon as she could.
Was the father hearing impaired?
The father was deaf too, yeah. And her mother could actually read lips. So I asked her, you need to come back as soon as you can to work. Well, I guess she didn't like it, so that was the first time she tried to attack me, and her parents had to take her out of the room. I don't know what happened with that. But anyway,
You know everything else about that business. Let me hear from you, young lady. Then we'll get back to you.
We were close. Her mother and I were close.
I know. I was just having fun with you.
I know.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, everything she said is a lie. My mom has been working with her for over 20 years. She is hearing impaired, so is my dad.
Two truths so far.
Right.
Okay.
Everything, right. Did you get in a lot of trouble? Were you troubled often?
I was. I am not gonna lie. There were times where I ditched school. On October 4th, I went to her work, her place
Is this
of work.
the incident you?
This is the
All right, let me hear from her on the incident, then you can defend it. She's
Yes, sir.
suing
On
you
October 4th, she would come in for the past few weeks every night, 6 o'clock, right when her mother got paid. So that particular night, I actually mentioned to her mother, you be careful and save some of your money because you have a very big bill you have to pay. And she started going off on me, accusing me of cheating her mother, start talking trash. And I said to her, you know what? This is my house. You don't talk to me like that here. You need to go. You need to leave. She wouldn't leave. So I thought, well, I'll get my checkbook. I'll pay her mother, then they'll go. As soon as I walked over there to hand her mother the check, she pushes me because I said to her, you need to go now. She pushes me, I fall. I threw water on her because I could feel her coming at me again. Now all this is happening with her child on her hip. And the baby screaming. And as soon as I made a turn, she slugged me twice, hit me in my face.
That's a lie.
Twice. She knocked me out. I got up, I could feel her coming at me again, and I'm thinking, she's gonna wail on me again, but her mother intervened and stopped her from hurting me some more. As soon as I could get to my desk, I made a phone call to the police, and her husband, boyfriend, whatever, was already out there with the police. She called the police and told them a story. I don't know.
The defendant called the police?
They did before I did. This is the police report. I could show it to you.
See it, please.
The only thing I question about this, because it wasn't complete, is why would she tell the police her maiden name when they both say they're married? But they wouldn't arrest her because whenever she said to them, I guess they were thinking they wanted to arrest me too. And I said, I didn't do anything wrong. So I didn't press charges because they said that. Well, after she left, I drove myself to the hospital, the nearest hospital. And this is the conclusion from the hospital right there.
What is it, ma'am?
The ER, a medical bill.
Okay. Contusion,
Yes.
which is a bruise with swelling and some bleeding under the skin.
And here's pictures. I took those pictures the next morning.
Mm-hmm. All right, young lady, what do you have to say?
On October 4th, I went, as I do every Saturday, pick up my mom because she doesn't have a ride. She wanted me to go and help her cash her check. That's what I do every Saturday. I had my 2-year-old with me. Okay, I'm sitting there. My mom tells me, oh, can you ask her about the financial situation? I don't understand. So I go and I said, hey, can you explain to me what's going on? Because she's told her, you need to start saving up. I said, oh, let me ask her. She goes and she tells me that it's none of my business. And I tell her, how is it not my business? She's my mom. She started going on and on that it's not my business, that I have no right, and that she wanted me to get out of the store. So I turn to my mom and I say, hey, she wants me to leave. Then that's when she starts ranting, saying that I'm a pig, and like we exchange words about cussing. I don't want to say anything. And she goes, I'm holding my 2-year-old. She goes and she throws water on me, and then she hits me with the water bottle. And I look to my daughter to see if she's okay, because she's crying. She starts crying at that moment. And then I go and I look at her and I say, why'd you do that?
She throws water on you and hits you with a water bottle.
Yeah, it was a water bottle, and she started pouring it on me. She started just going like that, and then she threw it at me, and she hit me with it.
You were standing there.
I was standing there.
She walks up with the water bottle, starts pouring it on you.
Yeah, on my
and
chest.
you just stand there.
Yeah, because
The water's coming down.
On my shirt. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what she was doing.
You didn't know to walk out of the water.
Yeah, no.
You didn't?
No, I didn't move. And then I look at my daughter because she starts crying, and and then she comes.
You still didn't think you should walk away because your daughter's crying now about water?
That's why I started telling her it's okay, we're gonna leave right now. And then she turns around, she gets a piece of cake, and she smashes me in the face with it. And then that's when I take a step back, and I put my daughter down so she can go with her grandma. And then I look at her and I defend myself because she comes at me and she starts pulling my hair, hitting me, and then we let go. And she turns around to get a mop. When I turn around to see where my daughter is, she comes at me and she tries to hit me with the mop. That's when my mom steps in and says, no, you're not gonna hit her. And then that's when I went outside and I called the police, and then that's when the police came. I have the police report, as you do too.
The same thing she gave me? Let's see it, please.
Okay.
The only issue here is who the aggressor was. Ma'am, she says you were the aggressor. She says you were. Your story sounds a little more convincing than hers, quite frankly.
Because it's the truth.
No, it's not.
Unless you have some independent evidence. No one has any statement from anyone who was there, a witness who saw anything. All right, what happened afterwards?
Well, I went to the hospital. I was there for 5 hours. A couple of days later, I went down and I was awarded a restraining order against her.
Let's see it, please. All right, this was a couple of days after. Why? Had you heard something from her?
Well, she lives around the corner from me, and her mother still worked for me. I just didn't ever want to see her again.
Gotcha. Ma'am, the judge said that you should be kept away from her. So the judge believed that you were a danger to her.
That's because I didn't speak up in court.
You didn't go?
No, I did go.
Why didn't you speak up?
I had a nervous breakdown.
In
I've never
court?
been to court. Yeah, I've never been to court. I had no, I had no experience. I didn't know what
Did
was.
you go to the hospital?
No, I did not. I just went home and I relaxed and I could take care of myself.
Just relaxed? Okay, so you didn't have a nervous breakdown.
Okay, well.
All right, that's a lot different. You were nervous, perhaps we can say that. Nervous breakdown. You're doing well today. To have been so nervous on the last one that you didn't speak up at all.
I didn't want to mess up twice. I wanted to.
Ma'am, the judge believed her. The judge believed you were a threat to her. That's why the judge issued and granted her application for a restraining order. So I'm going to grant you your judgment, ma'am. The pictures, I see the pain and suffering, but you're only suing today for the medical bill, $7,680. I can only grant you a maximum of $5,000. What are you doing with your life, young lady?
I'm working right now.
Okay, good. Did you finish school or?
No, I want to continue going to school. I want to go to Cerritos College in Norwalk.
To do what?
I want to become a sign language interpreter.
Oh, good. Great. Good luck to you. $5,000 is your judgment, ma'am. Have a good day.
Well, I just think that if young people need to accept responsibility for their actions, if they're going to act like that, they need to pay and maybe learn a lesson and not be like that anymore.
Everything she said was a lie, and I defended my daughter. That's what I did.